while you put your other hand in, holding the bottle while you take the lid on and off. So this is a system that's designed to be as simple as possible and to assist them with that type of task. So the robot here is wearing this blue skin that registers whether or not you're touching it. So when you touch the robot, it moves as though it's weightless. And when you release it, it holds the object fixed in position. Effectively, the robot is functioning as a stabilizer to hold that cup steady while the individual can remove the lid and pour into the glass. Those activities that they used to use their opposite hands to do and no longer do. So the hook opens and closes via voice commands. So you can position the robot. Open, hook. Open, hook. Close, hook. Close, hook. The speech recognition is a little, the robot compensates for its own weight, but can also compensate for the weight of objects grasped at the end point. Up to about, there are limits obviously based on the motors, up to about a half gallon of liquid. So we're looking at getting people, this has been a system that's designed for us to use in the laboratory, so we can get people who've had a stroke into the laboratory, get them using the system and find out what works and what doesn't about that, so that before we deploy something in somebody's home or spend a lot of time developing a system that will be easily mounted in a person's home, we can get an idea of how people feel about this method of interaction and what we need to change. Because clearly you wouldn't want this large base. We're stationary right now. So some other portions of our group actually do have this same robot arm mounted on a mobile base. So we're kind of all using the same robot arms and combined systems. We have things that are working. So I'm the user control portion and they're the autonomous robotics portion. And at some point, fingers crossed, our systems will do both. And so we're hoping to start testing people with stroke within about the next month. Have them come in and try and perform a variety of tasks and see, can they do things with the robot that they can't do on their own? How much faster are they with the robot than they are on their own? Because that's been the main drawback to some robots targeted at people with disabilities. They're so slow to use that people don't want to use them. They'd rather have their son, their daughter, their parent perform the task.
What's the sensor?
It's conductive cloth, actually. So there's 2 layers of conductive cloth with a separation in there. So very simple concept. So it's just basically when you touch it, you close the switch, and the robot knows that somebody's grabbed it. You don't actually have to grab it with anything. You push it. My graduate student who worked on the project actually has a disability herself, and a lot of times did not grab the robot. She would just push it with her arm because that was easier for her.
So how does this know my mission is what you're trying to do, or is it just looking at the feedback?
Yeah, currently that's all done in the control of the robot. So I would actually like at some point to be able to partner. We talked a little bit about with Bayer with some printable polymers to be able to know where you touch the skin. That was beyond my technical ability to fabricate in the lab. I mostly program and design human subjects experiments. So that's done. The robot that's from Bayer Technologies has some gravity compensation modes. It basically has an internal model. We can update that model to account for the weight of objects on the endpoint. So we have some routines that basically weigh that object so that it can update the model. And from there, it's using their control algorithms.
In this test system, is the control system itself in the base there, or do you have another computer that you're working with that right now?
Currently, there are 2 computers under the table. The only reason it requires 2 is one is running the robot and one is running the hook of the skin. Either is powerful enough to do both, but the robot requires a particular operating system that the data card running the hook absolutely hates.
Gotcha.
They like 2 different versions of Linux, so one machine is running Windows and one is running the robot. And it's purely a proprietary data card robot thing. There's no computer reason that it needs to be that way. The robot does have a computer in its base. For testing purposes, we'll find it easier to be able to compile. It's easier to compile and test new things if we're using a